What has been the most ridiculous I have a boyfriend girlfriend moment you've witnessed? Actually happened the other night down the pub. Group of girls were standing in front of the entrance to the toilets. It was loud as there was live music playing, so I tapped one on the shoulder and said, "Excuse me, please," while gesturing towards the toilets. Her friend immediately piped up saying she had a boyfriend, but the girl herself moved and said sorry. I had customers come in to look at ice cream cakes, Dairy Queen, so I went to ask if they needed help. The first woman there, without turning to look at me, said, "I have a boyfriend." So I turned to the next woman and asked if she needed help picking out a cake. I explained the sizes, prices, flavors to her. She picked one out and went to take it to check out. The first woman tried to ask me something and I told her sorry, I'm with someone, and went to ring out the second customer. Cool, professional, and effective. Nice. I wish cashiers a good day after I buy something. A girl told me she had a boyfriend. I just said I hope he has a good day too. It does get me looks too time to time. I guess I live in a sad place. I had an ex get mad at me because I wished a cashier a good day and she was female. It goes both ways. People suck. I'm dying alone with my cat, who is at least honest about being a C. I was out with a group of girlfriends. Went to eat lunch. Had a male waiter. When he was introducing himself to the group, one of the girls cut him off with, "I have a boyfriend. Don't try to flirt." Without missing a beat, he said, "Cool, I do too," then continued on with his spiel about the daily specials. I went to a McDonald's with some friends and a girl in our group did this to the cashier. She was kinda drunk, and I said rather audibly, "Damn it, now they are gonna spit in our food, Jane." And he, cashier, looked at me, laughing and said, "No, I got you, man. Nice guy." I was at a frat party and made my way into the kitchen. I knew the beer was in the fridge, so I was about to ask some girl standing in front of it to kindly move over. Here's the rundown of what happened. Me, as I'm reaching for the fridge, "Excuse me, I'm just." Random girl, "My boyfriend is 6'2". Me, "I'm happy for you, but can you step a little bit to your right so I can grab a beer?" Had a co-worker on my guard base that always brought up that she had a boyfriend at weird random times in conversation. Once the ban on gays was lifted, she came out. I was relieved. She was so much more normal once she could be a lesbian. The whole "I have a boyfriend" thing was just her trying to not get caught as gay. Kind of funny. Alternatively, there was a girl at a party senior year who blew a guy on the couch. Afterwards, he asked if she wanted to go upstairs, but she said, "No, I've got a boyfriend." I swear, some people are brokenly stupid. Obviously the boyfriend was upstairs and she didn't want to get caught. I was at the supermarket with my son a few years back. It was the day after Halloween and they had already started to put out Christmas decorations. We were looking through the discounted candy when two women walk up. One of them said, "Christmas stuff already?" and I replied, "Yeah, looks like the nightmare before Christmas out here." She chuckled, politely, "I'm sure," and walked on. The other woman walked up next to me and said, "Don't try to frick her. She's gay and she's with me." Then she walked off, too. Ha. I would have said, "Don't look at me, I'm just the wingman," and then pointed at my son. At IKEA, an attendant asked my wife, "What are you here for?" Obviously, "What are you at IKEA for?" And my wife replied, "I came here to be with my husband. She just moved here from Germany." He asked again, "No, what are you here for?" with more emphasis on here. She again replied, "I came here to be with my husband." More emphasis on my husband. This happened a third time and the guy ended up saying, "Mom, I'm not trying to hit on you. I just want to help you find what you're looking for." All the while I didn't help in the whole ordeal because I thought it was so funny. My wife is beautiful and wonderful and funny, but common sense is not her strong suit in situations like this. I'm trying to find my husband. He gets lost in here all the time. I asked if the playlist playing in the restaurant was given to them by the company or if it was their music. She had a boyfriend apparently. 10/10 execution. I contacted a girl I didn't know because we were assigned to the same group for a certain assignment. I asked her whether we could meet up tomorrow, and the first thing she said is, "OMG, I've got a boyfriend, you creep." While working at a restaurant bar, I went over to talk to one of the waitresses and her friend immediately said, "Who do you think you are talking to her? She has a boyfriend." I was her boyfriend. The friend hadn't met me yet. Needless to say, I didn't like her. Yup, cause once a girl is in a relationship she's not allowed to talk to anyone else. I introduced myself to a team of new hires as the site supervisor. Girl in the front row immediately cut me off to tell me she had a boyfriend. "Hi, I'm your new supervisor, and I have a boyfriend." "Great, I hope he's rich because you're out of a job. Get out." I was at a restaurant with my mom and sister. My sister told the male waiter that she had a boyfriend and I immediately said, "Nobody here wants to frick you." "Shut up." My sister was pissed but my mom found it hilarious. Your mom is the real MVP. First day of biology lab and I'm looking for a seat. I walk to the first available seat near the door as that's my normal spot for class. The girl who was there first, without missing a beat, looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You can sit there but I have a boyfriend." I didn't even know how to react. I laughed while confused and moved to sit somewhere else. Yeah, I sat here because I figured you wouldn't be a distraction to me. I was at the bar with work friends. Normally I worked remotely, 10 plus states away. There were a few other people who worked in related fields that liked to hang out with my co-workers. I was talking to one of these friend of a friend types and within literally 30 seconds she says, "I'm not going to have sex with you." WTF. I told her I wasn't interested. We were having a policy discussion, Ray. State laws versus federal laws. Where does that even come from? And I'm happily married. Clearly politics turn her on. I'm an ugly dude, and some people can't tell that I'm gay. Due to my overly comfortable demeanor around women, they will usually go out of their way to subtly hint they have a BF. However, this one day, with my boyfriend, this bee comes over calling me out for staring at her. She told me that she had a BF, and that I am harassing her. In that moment, somewhere deep inside both me and my partner's soul, erupted one of the most cliche, cartoonish responses ever conceived. Simultaneously, without hesitation, we looked at each other then back at her exclaiming, "Goo-oo-oo-oo." Low effort and very effective. 10/10. I used to volunteer at a local church. A female volunteer who I was not into had a crush on me and it was really awkward. My mom told me, "Just tell her you have a girlfriend. She'll back off." Well, mom was wrong about that one. The girl just kept asking after my girlfriend every time we met, even pressuring me to get engaged. Things got so bad, I finally had to resort to the truth. It's like starting with the truth would have been a good idea or something. I was on an airplane once and there was this 14-year-old guy that the flight attendant accidentally spilled a drink onto his lap. She grabbed some napkins and was dabbing at his pants, and he got extremely nervous and just blurted out, "I have a girlfriend." That guy was me. At least you didn't have a nervous boner. I was at a bookstore with my best friend who is male. He noticed the worker looking at an anime book that he really enjoyed, so he decided to start a conversation with her. I was in the next aisle so I could hear everything. He starts the conversation super innocent, inquiring about the book. She didn't even hesitate when she said, "I have a boyfriend." She was such a bee about it, so I walked over, grabbed my friend's arm and said, "Let's go, honey." Just had to pretend I was his GF. I didn't see her reaction. He got really upset about the whole ordeal. He doesn't even come off as flirty or anything. He has a fiance and 3 kids. Trying to have a conversation and being talked to like that is super upsetting. I was bumping hips with the girl I was out with while waiting for our drinks. She bumped me particularly hard and I accidentally bumped into the girl on my other side. She turned and dropped the bomb up, "I have a boyfriend." She was just letting you know it would have to be a foursome. I was at Dave & Buster's a couple years ago and noticed this girl absolutely shredding on Guitar Hero. I was so mesmerized by how awesome she was doing, I can barely play on hard, that I just stayed and watched until the end of the song. Once it ended I complimented her on her skills and asked how long she's been playing. Before I could even finish my sentence, in the snobbiest tone like she thought she was hot stuff, she said, I have a boyfriend." She handed me the guitar and walked off. It totally killed my mood for the rest of the night. I wasn't hitting on her or anything. I was just genuinely impressed. She doesn't play for your accolades, puny man. No, that's actually a little sad. I would have done the same and would have been told that she's not a lesbian. In my health class, this one girl has just gotten up to do a presentation. The rest of the class had to take notes on the presentation. Someone yelled out and asked what her presentation was on. She replied, "I have a boyfriend." Come on, dude. So her entire presentation was on her boyfriend. Sounds like a snoozerfest. I had just started dating a girl, now ex, and we went to the mall to hang out and look around. She saw a clothing store with a dress she liked, so we stopped in so she could look and try it on. Well, while she was in the fitting room, I was just moseying around the store when a group of very attractive women walk in the store. See a huge black guy sitting on the couch near me, and one of them says, "Hey, I don't I know you well." My new GF thought they were talking to me, and then this is when I found out that she was a crazy bee. From inside the fitting room, without me verbally acknowledging the girl, my GF screams, "He's mine, B." I then had to wait in that store for the most awkward 15 minutes of my life with a bunch of hot girls whispering about that guy and his crazy butt bee of a woman. My BF and I were talking to a guy we just met at a bar. He goes a few feet away to say goodbye to one of his friends, and before he came back, a girl grabs the arm of the guy we were talking to and looks at me weirdly and says I'm his girlfriend while standing really close to him. My BF comes back, and I say, "Oh nice, here's mine." So, what were we saying? And we continued our conversation. It was pretty funny, and the girl ended up being really interesting too. I'm 22, was in the city without my phone, asked a woman probably mid-30s for the time. "I'm married." Wonderful. Doesn't help me much though, does it? A friend of mine was waiting for a rare item to spawn in WoW, when another player, one of those crappy female blood elves, began to wait with him. No sooner had he said an idle hello did he receive an "I have a boyfriend" in response. I mean, he didn't say anything but the word hello. Whoa, rare item, girl, social awkwardness. I can't tell if this is real. One time I had a girl back her car into mine while I was trying to leave a Walmart parking lot. I got out and immediately asked her if she was okay. Her response was cut the Prince Charming crap. "I have a boyfriend." I replied with, "That's great, but do you have insurance?" Well played. This one is a bit sweet and a little sad. My fiance and I were living in Florida and my whole family came down to visit and flew in while I was at work. Not everyone in my family had met my fiance, so that was why they had come down and to also enjoy Florida. After getting home from working all day and my fiance left me a note in our apartment that they had gone to the pool in our complex. So I put on my sunglasses and head down there. She was in the hot tub with my grandmother who was in her 70s. I step down into the hot tub and cozy up against my fiance and my grandmother says, "She's engaged to my grandson and we're keeping her. You better back off." I took my sunglasses off and said, "It's me, grandma. Good to know you like her though." Super late to this thread, but whatever. I have a former friend who spent 2 years in India doing missionary work. We were pretty close before that. When I heard she was coming home for good, I posted on her Facebook that I was glad she was coming home. She PMs me a couple days later, "I have a boyfriend. We're not friends anymore." Happened a couple of weeks ago. A woman was walking 4-5 paces in front of me carrying a cardboard box of groceries with both hands. She jostled them and a tin dropped out of the box and rolled toward me. I picked up the tin and offered it back to her. Her immediate response was, "I have a boyfriend." Seriously? I thought "thank you" would have been more customary. Ugh. I would have tossed the can back on the ground. I stopped for gas one afternoon after leaving work. As I was fueling up, I noticed a woman at the next pump over was about to put diesel fuel into her Honda Civic. I ran over and attempted to stop her before it was too late and was greeted with a rather rude "I have a boyfriend." I'm aware that I should have stopped her anyways, but I live in the South where that sort of rudeness towards strangers usually isn't tolerated. It warmed my heart to watch her pump $30 into that car. Hopefully her boyfriend didn't live very far away. Way to deliver her a dose of karma. Not the most ridiculous but the most recent. Yesterday I decided to have lunch at a faux Mexican bar restaurant near me. Sat at the bar. It was almost empty. Women sits a few seats away from me. I just kind of give her a friendly acknowledging a fellow human being nod. And she boldly announces to the bartender, "I'm just waiting for my husband," for no reason. Bartender didn't ask or care cause the place was empty anyway. I get that women have to fight off dude looks and creepers. I just chuckled a bit. I take any entertainment I can get. I said to this girl, "Excuse me, you left your money at the self-checkouts," and she instantly said, "I have a boyfriend." She walks out and I got £300. I had one happen to me in a meeting at work several years ago and I still feel awkward every time I see the guy. I was trying to tell him why his upgrade went sideways and messed up the database because I'd seen it happen before. I said something to the effect of, "Hey, so I think I can explain what went wrong with your upgrade." And he replies, "Really? That's great. But I should warn you though, I'm married." "I should warn you? What? Does your wife murder your female colleagues for talking to you or something?" For a long time I overanalyzed and wondered if I had weird body language I wasn't aware of or if I'd said it a certain way. But it turns out the guy is just awkward as frick in almost any situation. I was at a bar with a friend when a girl tripped and I caught her before she smashed her face into the ground. She brushed me off and immediately went, "I have a boyfriend." To which I replied, "And I've got a girlfriend." Frick off. You should have said, "Oh my bad," and knocked her back over. My buddy and I were at a party where we didn't really know anyone other than the host. We see that the beer pong table was unoccupied and decide to find a couple people to play against. We see two girls sitting together not really interacting with other people, so we ask them if they want to play against us. "Wanna play beer pong against us? The table's open. We're lesbians," one of them said. I responded, "Cool, but do you want to play?" I don't know if they realized we weren't trying to hit on them, or figured it was harmless and could walk away at any point, but they played against us. We ended up hitting it off in a friendly way and later, days, found out neither were lesbian or even bi, and one was actually in a relationship and has a 4-year-old son. I don't think she was married, like a baby daddy situation. I was at the gas station and this gal in front of me had an Adventure Time purse. I said, "Cool purse. My kids and I love that show." She squeaked out, "I have a boyfriend and we are getting married." I thought to myself, "Be calm down," but said, "Good for you. You must be very happy." You should have replied with, "And the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell," and watch her brain explode. So I am a chef at a restaurant, and there was this new waitress that just started her first day. So after a while we get off the biggest part of the lunch serving and I just casually ask her, "Hey, how old are you, BTW?" In response I get, "Oh sorry, I already have a boyfriend." Still make fun of her for that. Years ago my girlfriend at the time and I lived in a house with another roommate, and parties get-togethers were at least a 2-3x week occurrence. One night we're getting drunk with just a handful of friends, but there was some sort of festival down the road and a lot of people shortcutting through our yard dead-end street. Our roommate was outside smoking at the time, and invited a group of half a dozen or so people, like 4 girls 2 guys, into our house to join in. The small group agreed and came inside. My girlfriend is hammered by now, greets them in a friendly way, but then says, "But I gotta lay some ground rules. This guy," points at me, "is my freaking man and is off limits." I still shudder when I think about that. That's actually sweet. Didn't have someone say it to me, instead I said it to someone else. I was in the university center and had just gotten to the 2nd floor when I heard "excuse me" behind me. I turn around and it's some guy and he asks my name, which I give, and introduces himself. He then tells me he thought was very cute and wanted to know what I was doing at the moment. I said I was going to eat lunch with my boyfriend, which I was. He responded with, "It's funny how every girl has a boyfriend when you ask. I only left my game to come talk to you, but okay. Have a nice lunch." He thought I was lying to him and was very offended. "Sorry to hurt your ego, guy, but I do have a boyfriend. Some people aren't actually single." Whoa. Ugh. Sounds like a nice guy. Makes us normal guys look bad. Crap. I only talk to women if they say something to me first, or we have something immediately in common like working at the same place. Sorry you had to deal with that salty piece of crap. I was 14. My friend, who I had known since I was literally born, I have pics of him holding me at the hospital, had his 16th birthday at Incredible Pizza, back when their OKC location was badass, and I was playing mini golf with him. His girlfriend walks up to me, sticks her nose in the air, grabs his arm, and literally drags him away saying, "Come on, boyfriend." I was like, haha, really? When I was leaving, I gladly told him that if she can't handle a lifelong friend standing near him at a put range, that he needed to run. Turns out she was cheating on him. I was 2, literally born. Not exactly what you're asking for, but one time in community college, we were assigned into groups for a semester-long project. The group consisted of me, a guy, another guy, and 4 girls, who all seemed to know each other. They were clearly not pleased with having 2 strangers in their group, especially male strangers. At one point, we were talking about the upcoming summer, and I mentioned I was getting married. One of the girls suddenly blurted out, "Oh, thank God," and then clammed up. Embarrassed, I got the impression that she had been concerned I would try to ask her out or something. I used to work at the big red box store. While working in women's clothing, I approach a man and ask him if I can help them find anything in his size. Of course I was joking and I was just trying to be friendly. He informs me that he has a girlfriend. While working in women's clothing. I know you mean the department, but it's still funny. Slightly different spin. My business partners and I were contacted to do a party with the daughter of some giant department store CEO. They had plenty of money, but apparently they didn't want to pay the venue for the party and were hoping we'd foot the bill. First of all, frick you. Second of all, our female partner called a meeting before the meeting, saying don't say anything, she'd handle the whole thing. We had a battle plan and agenda that she never stuck to. You would think that if your prospective client has more money than you, that maybe you'd take the time to listen, figure out what they want, what they're really trying to do, or not. As soon as we went in there, she started talking about, "I have a boyfriend. He can do the design for the flyers. My boyfriend also can blah blah blah." Nobody else got a word in edgewise. She mentioned her boyfriend so much that my other business partner and I looked at each other like, WTF is this bee doing? We had a plan also. Then why the frick isn't your wonderful boyfriend here at this goddamn meeting? It got to the point that 20 minutes into the meeting, I could tell that Lil Miss Aries wanted nothing to do with us. Crap, that was the last time I worked with that business partner. Come to think of it, we didn't end up doing the party, and her boyfriend broke up right after that, LMAO. I was a bridesmaid for my cousin in her wedding. While we were walking back down the aisle during, not dying, the rehearsal, my friend's mom said, "There goes my single daughter," who was the maid of honor, and my single adopted daughter, me, the groom's mother rushes over to let all of us know that both gentlemen who were walking us down the aisle were happily married. Whoa lady, calm down. It was a joke. They aren't attractive anyway, and all of us on the bride's side had been drinking. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.